Drustvar, mate.
Drustvar. Kulturas. The Alliance starting zone.
Yeah, it's the first Alliance starting zone in BFA. I didn't know anything going into it, but I'm so glad that they've done what they've done with it. It seems it's like very old world. I want to say Englishy, you know, like the old like tall wooden houses, like people in tall hats, kind of like Van Helsing.
Okay.
Right, and that's the kind of theme for the storyline as well. It's basically there's a house called the Waycrest.
Yeah, so each of the zones in BFA has a house or a party, like a Game of Thrones style feel.
Yes, exactly.
Where we're where we're helping some particular family or something. So it's the Waycrest we're helping in this one.
It's the Waycrest in Drustvar, yeah. And they got rid of like an ancient evil there. I think it was called the Drust, which is why it's called Drustvar. Now all the effigies of Drust are still around it, and you're basically. You know it's coming back. Okay, so there's going to be witches, there's going to be hexes, there's going to be effigies. There's a lot of different ways that they've done this, and it's awesome. I thought this was a bug in the alpha at first. The second you log in, you walk into the town and all the NPCs are frozen, but interactable. And
like Duskwood. Duskwood had something
kind
similar,
of, yeah. And I thought these were just placeholders because it's just the alpha. But then you speak to one, it's like, okay, they're actually hexed.
Okay. You guys are actually screwed.
It's cool though, yeah. It's like an old style, like we said, like kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean meets Van Helsing. But we'll get to the more pirates part in a bit.
Yeah.
And there's a big effigy in the center of town, which is basically hexed everyone. So it's your job to cut that shit out, basically.
I'll be honest, this is the thing that, because they showed a bit of this zone at, I think they showed 20 minutes of gameplay at this at BlizzCon, and this was the zone that made me jealous because I like the ghosty and hexy, witchy thing.
It's got a very nice, stuff. Like the scenery itself and the atmosphere. It's like I keep saying, it's very Van Helsing. But it gets so darker and creepier the more you get down. You basically, without going into the spoilers, you find out what's causing the hex in town. And then you start to get acquainted with the townsfolk, you start to help their friends out. And there's a really good quest hub, which is very interesting, where they've got a woman who's about to be hung because they blame her for all this witch stuff. There's a big crowd around it, kind of like the first intro to Assassin's Creed. There's a big crowd around it, and you're like the hero here. They're going to hang her for being a witch, and you've basically got to intervene because you know that she's not a witch. But obviously they're what's the word, like fanatics, basically. Yeah. So you speak to the people in the crowd, it's like, how can you prove she's a witch? So you find the ones where it's not going to kill her, like the whole myth of like a witch will float in water and
I was
going to
say, if they Monty Pythoned it, is it kind of funny?
Kind of, yeah, it's kind of funny. So like, you go through them and you can find it's like, well, a witch can't be sick because her stomach's made out of like a pure evil and stuff. Or like, you know, like the insects won't sting them, or the things like that. So you've got to find these things that will sting her, that will make her vomit, that'll make her cry.
This poor woman.
You've made the best part, you've got to cut an onion in front of her to make her cry. But they eventually, like, they let her go from like literally this, is it called the stocks where they hang people? Yeah, they let her go from there, and then you carry on. But the whole zone, and here's the thing though, is I never noticed a direct transition, because you go from this like town that's haunted and then a bit of the town that's on fire, kind of like what's the inside of, I want to say Stratholme.
Okay.
Kind of like that.
Like a gothic
exactly, yeah.
feel.
Very, very gothic, yeah. So you get a part that's not on fire, then a part that's on fire, but then suddenly you're in the mountains. But on the way up to the mountains, you're going through like a creepy spider's den, and just the way that it transitions like a rainbow as opposed to just hard separation.
Well, this is what we're seeing.
Was really good.
Because they want us to get 3.5 levels per zone.
I can see it.
The zones are so dense.
They're big.
They're huge
really
zones.
big.
Because I know some people, for them, the numbers matter. Like, only 3 zones, mate. What's that about? That's not a lot. But once you're in there, it's like, these things are thick.
Yeah.
They are dense with so much going on. I assume your zone was full of rares and treasures and stuff.
Like same with you. You could spawn the rares. We'll talk about one in a minute. And yeah, all the rares, like, they have placeholder loot. They have a lot of placeholder abilities. Some of them did have their abilities in, but they were very basic. I don't think they were animated. Now, there's one rare in particular. You were streaming it.
Little pre-spoiler warning here,
right,
for the next 10 seconds or so.
Now, yeah, it's a good point, that, because I don't want to spoil this for you.
But I think we should make people aware this
I will say this before you go into spoiler turf, is you'll see a chest that's in the middle of a cave that says something along the lines of, obviously not a trap. Okay? Now, this is the spoiler. Now, you go into the cave, and you click the chest, and the biggest, and I mean biggest, tarantula dives, not just suddenly spawns in and crawls at you, dives at your face. This thing engulfs the cave. It's like Shelob at Lord of the Rings. This thing is, and my body went cold, and I shouted. I had to show the people. Luckily, I recorded it. Like, I was sat next to you, but that thing is haunting. Now, I've not jumped or the spiders in game since vanilla, but I've not gone literally cold at the sight of a spider.
Resident Evil 1 or something like that.
At the sight of a spider in a game since that. I think it was the shock value of not expecting it, the size of it, and it just
WoW would never do this to me. WoW would never do this to me. It'll treat me right. It'll treat me proper. Not anymore. Not anymore. No, you take it.
But like you're saying, like on the theme of being dark, like you go to certain towns where people are being turned into pigs, and you basically got to find out how it's happening, why it's happening. And you go into a building, and this isn't a spoiler because they're actually dotted around. It's just the fact that this one's highlighted because it's a quest one. And like you said earlier, if you take your time, you're not going to miss it. But like I was trying to kind of streamline, I didn't notice it until it was part of a quest.
Exactly, yeah, there's a lot of off the beaten track stuff, including extra quests that are dotted around these zones. You really want to, because the paths are very clear in each zone, a lot of straight roads that'll take you from quest to quest, and that kind of leads you through hub to hub, of which in the zone that I did, there was only 3 flight points that I found in 4.5 hours. That's all I had.
Yeah, I kind of went out of my way to find them, and they are very spread apart, but it also gives you, when you're going from point A to point B, just to unlock them, it gives you a sense of grandeur for this zone.
Exactly, and going off the beaten track. Like I say, you could use the straight roads and pass, but if you go away from there, lots of hidden stuff. Loads of hidden stuff. These zones are packed.
Yeah.
They are really packed, and they're huge as well.
I love the themes, though. They do so much, like, especially for Drustvar, they do so much in a zone, which is all related, but it's not the same theme, texture, background, atmosphere in every area that you go in.
It's almost like getting it's like getting a quarter of an original continent.
Yeah.
Where you used to go to, say, Westfall, it's all golden and bright, but then if you go into Duskwood, it then changes dramatically, but that's going zone to zone. And what we've got now is one large zone with an overarching story, but very different areas within it. Yeah, a whole big spectrum within the zone itself. So very, very cool. So Drustvar, thumbs up. Were you happy?
Absolutely. I honestly can't wait to finish it. The story as well. I don't want to tell you about the story. I know I keep using the Van Helsing reference, but it all becomes apparent why. And I don't want to go into it.
The Alliance should not be salty. Yeah, they should not be salty.
It's a really good campaign. It's a really, really good campaign, and I can't wait to finish it, to be honest.
Superb.
Yeah,
look forward to that one, team.